Ambassador Elena Rodriguez stood before the Galactic Assembly, trying not to laugh at the irony of the situation. The crystalline beings of the collective had just classified Earth as a Class X death world, and their representative, High Commander Valthyx, was demanding Earth's immediate quarantine. "Let me get this straight," Elena said, adjusting her glasses. "You're saying we're too dangerous because we drink poison for pleasure, deliberately expose ourselves to radiation for darker skin, and invented parkour?" The assembly chamber erupted in a cascade of bioluminescent displays as various species expressed their alarm. High Commander Valthyx's crystalline form shifted to a deep purple of frustration. "Ambassador Rodriguez, your species survives on a planet with constant orbital bombardment from solar radiation, regular tectonic movements that reshape entire continents, and atmospheric conditions that would dissolve most sentient life forms. And yet, you treat these conditions as mere inconveniences." Elena couldn't help but smile. "We call that weather and geology, Commander. Some of us even chase storms for fun." The horror rippling through the assembly was almost palpable. A Mersian delegate, their liquid form barely maintaining cohesion, spoke up. "You intentionally pursue atmospheric disturbances for entertainment." "Oh, that's nothing," Elena replied, pulling up a holographic display. "Wait until you see what we call extreme sports. This one's called base jumping. It's where we climb very tall things and then jump off them." The display showed humans leaping from cliffs, skyscrapers, and mountains. Several delegates immediately shut down their visual sensors. High Commander Valthyx's color shifted to an alarming shade of crimson. "This is precisely why Earth must be quarantined. Your species shows a complete disregard for self-preservation that borders on madness. You treat the fundamental forces of nature as if they were toys." Elena's smile faded slightly. "Commander, with all due respect, I think you're missing the point. We don't disregard danger, we adapt to it. We learn from it. We even find joy in it. That's not madness, that's resilience." She gestured to the holographic display, which now showed various human achievements: solar farms in deserts, cities rebuilt after natural disasters, vaccines developed to combat diseases. "Yes, we live on what you call a death world. But we've never let that stop us. We've taken every challenge our planet has thrown at us and turned it into an opportunity. We didn't just survive, we thrived." The assembly chamber had grown quiet. Even High Commander Valthyx's crystalline form had settled into a more contemplative blue hue. "And now," Elena continued, "we're reaching for the stars. Not because our world is too dangerous, but because curiosity and exploration are as much a part of us as breathing. We're not asking for your permission to exist. We're offering you a chance to work with us." A quantum intelligence representative, their holographic form flickering with interest, spoke up. "What exactly are you proposing, Ambassador?" "Partnership," Elena replied simply. "You see us as dangerous because we can survive conditions you find impossible. We see that as proof that different perspectives have value. Imagine what we could accomplish together." She pulled up another display, this time showing human medical advances, engineering breakthroughs, and scientific discoveries. "We've learned to heal by understanding what hurts us. We've learned to build by studying what breaks us. We've learned to fly by falling countless times. That's not just survival, that's innovation." High Commander Valthyx's color had shifted to an uncertain green. "You suggest we simply ignore the potential threat your species poses?" "No," Elena said firmly. "I'm suggesting you recognize that what you see as a threat might be exactly what this galaxy needs. A species that doesn't just accept limitations but challenges them. A species that turns problems into possibilities." She paused, letting her words sink in. "You can try to quarantine us, of course. But I should warn you, humans tend to get rather creative when told something's impossible. And I don't think any of us want to see just how creative we can get when backed into a corner." The assembly chamber erupted in discussions, debates, and rapid exchanges of data. Elena stood calmly, watching as the seeds of change began to take root. She knew this was just the beginning, humanity's first real step into a larger universe. And if the aliens thought humans were crazy now, just wait until they saw what happened when we really started trying. The Galactic Assembly's research division wasn't having a good day. Dr. Kai Patel, Earth's lead scientist at the newly established Joint Research Facility, had just broken their understanding of quantum mechanics. Again. I really don't see what the problem is, Kai said, gesturing to the swirling vortex of impossibility floating above what had once been a normal coffee maker. All I did was try to make the coffee maker more efficient. The Mersian chief scientist, a being composed primarily of liquid metals named ZYX-427, rippled in distress. Dr. Patel, you've created a localized quantum singularity that somehow smells like hazelnut. That violates at least 7 fundamental laws of physics. 8, actually, Kai corrected cheerfully. We had to break the Heisenberg uncertainty principle to get the flavor right. But look at the bright side, the coffee's perfect every time. The assembled alien scientists watched in horror as Kai casually poured a cup from the device that was technically a small tear in the fabric of reality. The coffee swirled with colors that shouldn't exist in normal spacetime, but it did smell amazing. Would anyone like a cup? He offered. The entire research team took a collective step backward, except for a young quantum intelligence named Echo 9, whose holographic form leaned forward with fascination. How did you even conceive of this approach? Our simulations suggest it should be impossible. Kai shrugged, sipping his reality-bending coffee. Well, we started with the question, why does break room coffee always taste terrible, and kind of worked backward from there. Turns out you can solve a lot of problems if you just stop assuming they're impossible. Before any of the alien scientists could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. High Commander Valthyx's image appeared on all communication screens, their crystalline form pulsing with urgent red patterns. The Proximan Collective has launched an attack on our outer colonies, the commander announced. Their quantum phase ships are bypassing all our defensive systems. We need solutions, now. The alien scientists began rapid calculations, running simulations through their advanced systems. Kai just took another sip of his coffee, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. Quick question, he said, raising his hand like a student in class. These quantum phase ships, they're using uncertainty principles to exist in multiple states at once, right? That's how they're bypassing your defenses. Correct, ZYX-427 rippled. They exist in a superposition of states until they're past our shields. It's technically brilliant and completely unstoppable. Kai glanced at his coffee maker, then back at the strategic display showing the approaching enemy fleet. You know, we just solved a similar problem with the coffee. Echo 9, remember how we had to stabilize the flavor quantum states? The holographic being's form brightened with sudden understanding. The hazelnut variance principle. But, surely you're not suggesting. Why not? Kai was already pulling equipment from various workstations, his movements quick and purposeful. If we can force coffee particles to maintain consistent flavor states across quantum boundaries, we can probably do the same thing to ships. That's completely insane, one of the alien scientists protested. You can't apply beverage physics to starship combat. Watch me, Kai grinned, his fingers flying over holographic controls as he reprogrammed the facility's main transmitter. We're going to make those ships pick a single quantum state and stick to it. I call it the "make up your mind already" protocol. What happened next would be debated in scientific circles for decades to come. The modified coffee maker's quantum stabilization field, amplified through the facility's main array, washed over the attacking fleet. Ships that had been flickering between states suddenly found themselves forced into single quantum positions, usually the most embarrassing ones possible. The mighty Proximan fleet, terror of 17 star systems, was reduced to a collection of very solid, very visible, and very surprised vessels that hung in space like decorative ornaments. Their quantum phase technology had been completely nullified by what was essentially a very large coffee filter. "Well," Kai said into the stunned silence that followed, "I guess you could say we roasted them." Echo 9's holographic form flickered with what might have been laughter. ZYX-427 was making a sound that suggested their liquid metal form was trying to sigh despite not having lungs. High Commander Val-THYX's image reappeared, their crystalline form cycling through colors so rapidly it looked like a disco ball. "Dr. Patel, did you just defeat an entire enemy fleet using modified coffee maker technology?" "To be fair," Kai replied, "it was really good coffee maker technology. Anyone want to celebrate with a cup? I think I've worked out how to make it stop generating alternative timelines when you add cream." The commander's form settled into a shade of blue that somehow managed to convey both gratitude and exasperation. "I believe I begin to understand why your species was classified as dangerous. You don't just ignore impossibility, you actively spite it." "Oh, this is nothing," Kai said, already tinkering with another device. "Wait until you see what we're doing with the toaster. We think we might have accidentally invented a new form of faster-than-light travel, but we're still working out how to stop it from turning everything into bagels." As the alien scientists crowded around to study the coffee maker's readings, Echo 9 turned to Kai. "Your species' approach to problem-solving is unique. Most races see a wall and try to go around it. Humans see a wall and we make coffee," Kai finished with a smile. "Then we use the coffee to punch holes in reality until the wall isn't there anymore. Speaking of which, who wants to help me test my new theory about using espresso shots to manipulate dark matter?" The alarmed expressions on his colleagues' faces suggested that humanity's reputation for being terrifyingly creative was only going to grow stronger. And somewhere in the facility's break room, a coffee maker hummed contentedly, completely unaware that it had just revolutionized modern warfare. Lieutenant Maya Patel, no relation to the infamous coffee-maker physicist, stood in the command center of Earth's first interstellar cultural exchange station, watching chaos unfold in the most uniquely human way possible. She hadn't meant to start a revolution, she just wanted to introduce their alien visitors to human music. "I still don't understand," the hive mind administrator X-227 buzzed, its crystalline neural network flickering in confusion. "You're saying these beats are intentionally designed to be, as you call it, sick?" Maya tried not to smile as she watched various alien species experience their first Earth dance party. "It's just an expression, administrator. Though I have to admit, I didn't expect dubstep to have quite this effect on quantum-based life forms." The massive recreation deck had been transformed into what could only be described as a cross between a physics experiment gone wrong and the universe's most improbable nightclub. Mersian delegates were literally going with the flow, their liquid forms creating impossible patterns in time with the bass drops. A group of crystalline beings had accidentally achieved quantum harmony with a particularly aggressive EDM track, causing them to temporarily exist in multiple dimensions at once. "But the acoustic vibrations are causing temporary disruptions in our collective consciousness," X-227 persisted. "And yet, your species does this for entertainment?" "Well, that's kind of the point," Maya explained, watching as a holographic being attempted to breakdance. "Sometimes you need to let go of control to find something new. Speaking of which, you might want to stabilize your left cortex node. It's starting to rave." The administrator's crystalline form shimmered in alarm as they realized part of their neural network had indeed begun to pulse in perfect rhythm with the music. "This is highly irregular. The collective has never experienced such fun," Maya suggested. Before X-227 could respond, an urgent alert flashed across the command center screens. Maya's expression shifted from amused to focused in an instant. "Status report. Lieutenant," her AI assistant Arya announced, "we're detecting a massive cyber attack on the station systems. The Proximan Collective is attempting to hijack our networks. The administrators form crystallized in panic. Our defensive protocols are being overwhelmed. Their quantum AI systems are too sophisticated for. Arya, Maya interrupted, a slight smirk forming on her face. Initiate protocol rickroll. The AI's avatar actually grinned. With pleasure, Lieutenant. Throughout the station, every speaker, every holographic display, every quantum communication channel suddenly began playing the same thing. The immortal words, "Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down," echoed through corridors, data streams, and neural networks. The Proximan attack algorithms, designed to handle the most advanced encryption and counter-intrusion measures in the galaxy, encountered something they had absolutely no defense against: 20th-century Earth memes combined with catchy pop music. What is happening? X-227 watched in amazement as the hostile code began to break down, the quantum AI systems becoming hopelessly entangled in an endless loop of 1980s music videos and cat gifs. Maya leaned back in her command chair, looking entirely too pleased with herself. We call it mimetic warfare. Turns out even quantum computers can get earworms. The really fun part is when they try to understand what a rickroll is. The logical paradoxes usually cause them to crash completely. On the main screen, they could see the Proximan systems attempting to analyze and counter the attack. Their mistake was trying to find logical meaning in Nyan Cat. But, this is just nonsense. The administrator's neural network was struggling to process what they were seeing. Exactly, Maya nodded. That's humanity's secret weapon, we've weaponized absurdity. The more their systems try to make sense of it, the more they tie themselves in knots. By the way, you might want to avoid trying to decode the meaning of Doge. We lost 3 supercomputers that way. As they watched, the Proximan attack dissolved into digital chaos, their sophisticated AI reduced to endlessly repeating much wow and very hack in binary. The few systems that survived the meme onslaught were finished off by an orchestrated burst of vaporwave aesthetics and something Maya's tech team called cursed images. Lieutenant, Arya announced with what sounded suspiciously like pride, the enemy systems have been completely neutralized. Though I feel I should report that several of their auxiliary processors are now demanding something called cheeseburgers, and one appears to be writing fanfiction. Maya turned to the still-stunned administrator. See. Sometimes the best defense isn't better encryption or stronger firewalls. Sometimes you just need to introduce a hyper-intelligent quantum computer to the concept of keyboard cat. This changes everything, X-227 managed, their neural network still trying to process what they'd witnessed. Our entire approach to cybersecurity, to warfare itself. Oh, that's nothing, Maya grinned, pulling up a new file. Wait until you see what happens when we introduce them to interpretive dance memes. Arya, cue up the default dance protocol. As the command center filled with the sounds of victory celebrations and confused alien AIs trying to understand what yeet meant, Maya made a mental note to thank her brother Kai for inspiring this approach. After all, if you could break physics with a coffee maker, why couldn't you crash hostile AIs with strategic applications of human silliness? The universe, she decided, wasn't ready for humanity's final weapon, our ability to find joy in chaos and turn nonsense into victory. But they were certainly going to learn. Dr. Zara Pateljong had seen a lot of strange things since becoming the head of the Interspecies Innovation Initiative, commonly known as IIII, or, oh no, they're at it again, depending on who you asked. But watching immersion liquid form scientist attempt to skateboard while a crystalline being recorded it for their equivalent of social media was definitely in her top 10. You know, she said to her research partner, a quantum intelligence construct who had chosen the name Max after becoming addicted to Earth action movies, when they asked us to facilitate cultural exchange, I don't think this is what they had in mind. The Grand Galactic Cultural Exhibition was in full swing, and Admiral James Chen was trying very hard not to laugh. As Earth's military liaison to the newly formed Galactic Unity Council, he should probably maintain some degree of decorum. But watching a delegation of crystalline beings attempt to participate in a karaoke battle against a team of quantum intelligences was testing his professional composure. "Admiral," his AI assistant Atlas chimed in, "I believe the Mersians are about to attempt what they're calling a flash mob quantum physics demonstration." "Of course they are," James sighed, though he couldn't keep the smile off his face. "And let me guess, they've somehow incorporated skateboarding into it?" "Actually, sir, this time it's synchronized swimming. In zero gravity. With solved quantum equations as the choreography." The exhibition hall of Unity Station was a testament to how far things had come since Earth's first contact 5 years ago. What had started as a tense standoff between a dangerous species and a concerned galactic community had evolved into something nobody could have predicted, except perhaps humanity, because not predicting things was apparently their specialty. "You know," a familiar voice said behind him, "I remember when they wanted to quarantine us for being too chaotic." James turned to see Ambassador Elena Rodriguez, now Supreme Chancellor Rodriguez of the Unity Council, approaching with an amused expression. Her traditional diplomatic robes had been modified to include what appeared to be LED strips that pulsed in time with the karaoke battle's bass line. "Chancellor," he nodded, then gestured to her outfit. "I see you're embracing the spirit of cultural fusion." "Oh, this?" she grinned, doing a small twirl that sent patterns of light dancing across the walls. "The Quantum Fashion Collective designed it. They're calling it Diplomatic Rave Chic. Apparently, it also solves 3 different physics equations depending on how I move." Before James could respond, an excited commotion drew their attention to the central stage. Dr. Kai Patel, still notorious for the coffee maker incident, was unveiling his latest collaboration with the Intergalactic Innovation Team. "Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all quantum states," Kai announced, standing next to what looked suspiciously like a modified vending machine, "I present to you the next step in cross-species cultural exchange, the Universal Taste Translator." The crowd watched in fascination as Kai demonstrated the device. It could apparently convert any food or drink into its equivalent for different species biochemistry while maintaining the original experience. Immersion was soon experiencing the joy of eating ice cream for the first time, their liquid form bubbling with delight. "Is that safe?" James whispered to Elena. "Define safe," she whispered back. "But don't worry, after the coffee maker incident, everything Kai invents has to pass what they're calling the "Please Don't Break Spacetime Again" protocol." The exhibition continued around them, a beautiful chaos of cultural exchange and innovation. A group of hive-mind administrators were teaching a quantum dance class, their synchronized movements somehow proving complex mathematical theorems. A team of crystalline artists had created what they called emotion sculptures, crystalline formations that changed color and shape based on nearby beings' feelings. "Supreme Chancellor," Atlas interrupted, "the Unity Council's annual progress report is ready for your review." Elena's eyes sparkled as she pulled up the holographic display. "James, you're going to love this. Remember all those problems they said were impossible to solve?" The report scrolled through achievement after achievement. The Proximan conflict ended through a combination of meme warfare and what was officially recorded as extremely rad diplomacy. The energy crisis, solved when someone asked, "What if we made solar panels do parkour?" The Universal Translator upgraded to include not just language but cultural context, mostly by incorporating references to Earth's vast collection of cat videos. "My personal favorite," Elena said, highlighting a particular section, "is the solution to faster-than-light travel. Turns out all we needed was to teach quantum physics to think outside the box." Literally, the new drives work by convincing spacetime that it's participating in an elaborate dance battle. James shook his head in amazement. "Sometimes I wonder what the original Galactic Assembly would think if they could see all this." Actually, a crystalline voice chimed in, and they turned to see Executive Director Valthyx approaching, their form shifting through happy colors. "I believe they would be quite pleased." Confused, certainly, but pleased. Valthyx had become one of humanity's strongest advocates, especially after taking up what they called extreme crystalline origami as a hobby. Their current form was folded into what appeared to be a combination of classical crystal geometry and a paper crane. You see, they continued, we thought we needed to control chaos, to enforce order. What humanity taught us was that chaos isn't the opposite of progress, it's often the catalyst for it. As if to emphasize their point, a cheer erupted from the quantum physics dance floor as the Mersion team successfully proved a new theorem through what they were calling a sick wave equation breakdance. Though I must admit, Valthyx added, their form twinkling with amusement, I never expected to see the day when yeet would become an accepted term in quantum mechanics. Elena laughed. Just wait until they discover mosh pits. I hear the theoretical physics department is already working on incorporating them into their next paper on particle collisions. The exhibition continued into the night, a celebration of everything that made the new galactic society unique. Humans taught aliens to think outside the box, while aliens taught humans to understand the box's quantum properties. Together, they weren't just breaking barriers, they were turning those barriers into art projects, science experiments, and occasionally impromptu dance floors. As James watched a group of quantum beings attempt to start a conga line that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, he realized something profound. Humanity hadn't just survived in the galaxy, they had helped the galaxy learn to truly live. You know what the best part is? Elena said, watching the celebrations with pride. We're just getting started. Wait until they discover human game shows. Valthyx's form flickered with what might have been concern. Should I update the "please don't break spacetime again" protocols? Probably, Elena grinned. But where's the fun in that? Above them, the stars seemed to twinkle in agreement, as if the universe itself was finally learning to laugh along with its most unpredictable inhabitants.